welcome to Kontroversy on TAN Network. I am your lead host, Sinclair Roger Jindogon, and I have the darling other hosts here, Golf and Tulip.
Hi.
Hey. Now we'll go straight into the thing, which is your story first. The thing is China's netizens debate Google's pull out, and we were just debating what netizens was. So that's actually a citizen of the net.
Exactly.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure, like, you all heard of it because Google is a big search engine.
Oh yes.
The biggest one.
Is it still the biggest one? Yeah.
I think it's
I believe so.
I think it's the biggest
believe so.
website got hit every day.
Yeah.
For like research and stuff. But see, in China, the problem is there are a lot of rules and regulations, and apparently there has been a lot of what should I say? A lot of restriction in certain websites, or you can't get access. So Google got really frustrated, and what's the point of being a search engine when people cannot actually search
into
anything, right? So it decided at first to move to like reroute every single. Well, not every single, but encourage all the user to go visit google.com.hk instead of like Google China.
What's Hong Kong?
Hong
Kong,
Kong, because it's more lenient toward
of course.
in terms of regulations and everything else. And now they pull out completely. And a lot of Chinese citizens are kind of upsetting, like some are upsetting, some are not so much because they do have their own search engine as well. It's called Baidu search engine, just kind of like competing rivals with...
Is it a Chinese one?
Yes, it's a Chinese one, but according to some of them, they do say like it's incomparable to Google because it's not as like
not as open range.
Exactly, or the details of the contents and stuff is not as useful as Google when you can expand it. But the thing is, some of the people will also say that you know what, that's their loss. They should have competed. With Baidu, it's going to be great and stuff, and we don't care because we have Baidu. Kind of thing. So it's kind of mix and match and stuff like that.
That also shows you how huge Google is if they can pull out of China. I mean, that's
China always have their own version of everything. Like YouTube, they have like to do.
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
so they kind of have everything.
It's actually
kind of like in mocking. They block YouTube. I have a friend that used to live in Beijing, and he cannot access to YouTube because they're blocking information.
Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube are blocked.
Well, you know the reason why is I think on YouTube a few years ago they actually had
information.
They had some Chinese soldiers torturing people,
because there's uncensored
Chinese citizens. Do you know what I mean? And as you know, like the human rights issues in China are just abhorrent.
But they're common. They not call themselves communists. They're socialist. So it's different kind of.
Yeah, but they still have a lot. They block like words and certain words and images and stuff. Like eBay and Yahoo couldn't have their business there either because
Yahoo too.
Yeah.
Really? Because Yahoo is probably the most.
So now, so
conservative,
if the Google pull themselves out, it means they cannot use Gmail either.
Exactly.
So what? So now everything's gonna be like. Well, now what? Hotmail and I don't.
That part I don't know, but the thing is, they're trying to make. I'm pretty sure now the government probably gonna back up the Baidu. The other search engine.
But see, unfortunately for them, even they'll probably even get like even more restrictions, and a lot of the stuff in that content now will be actually probably taken off.
But this not gonna paralyze Chinese people because they are very smart. They'll find a way to get around with other websites or other kind of thing. They will because I do believe that there's a bunch of liberal that live in China and they know how to.
A lot of the community, they just have to sort of pretend to be a certain way so they don't get like put in jail, and classified as intellectual sort of extremists and tortured and murdered.
And it's funny, like because of the size of Google, and with the whole Washington and Beijing fighting, they're not in such good terms with the yuan exchange rates and everything else. So right now, like Washington are kind of worried that why can't you talk it over? But that's too bad. But Google say like they were hacked into the system.
Really?
In order to So, so like, sorry, we got to pull out. So let's hope that if they move to Hong Kong, it would be a little better But
well, Hong Kong is still very sort of British orientated, hence, you know, the British sort of ruled there for so long.
They kind of give more freedom to Hong Kong.
Well, I mean, when I was actually there the week that it actually was given back, and I thought it'd be interesting to see actually what happens, because you can't just sort of have a very progressive place like Hong Kong go back to sort of like a communist or socialistic type of very backward thinking place, because firstly there's so much international money infrastructure in Hong Kong. I mean, it's one of the most expensive places on the earth to buy real estate, for instance. Like seriously, like especially on the mountain.
But that's the thing, right? China is amazing in a way because even being the closed kind of society with like all the censors and everything, like, you know, forbidden this and that, they're still moving very fast comparing to, you know.
I just think because the country is so big, sometimes, not sometimes, probably socialists fit the country system more because of the mass of people. So instead of trying to explain everything, they just tell most people what to do. It's probably easier to have control over
maybe they have the right medicine for that type.
So what you don't know doesn't hurt you, as the old expression goes. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit like actually in Thailand. Many rural people might not be as knowing or educated or understanding of maybe certain circumstances in more of a Western place like, say, Bangkok.
Right.
So and you might only be like, say, 3 hours distance away by car.
I would just say like if you're talking about rural people, they try to make that end meet is the first priority. So I don't think they have time to worry about any things that like in depth or
and you saying that it's sometimes probably a better thing. I think sometimes we are all actually the earth destroyers because we've got this Western ideology. We want instead of just surviving, you know, and
maybe it's better if you don't care about anything at all.
So
maybe.
Yeah, well,
So it's all very interesting because I was thinking like, you know, with the whole expansion of education, expanding your horizon, you know, have this, you know, big search engine and you getting more. But see, Thai youth these days sometimes use it for the wrong reason. You know, you see it all the time on the news or whatever. That, you know, some girls were lured into pedophiles or, you know, being preyed.
I think that's everywhere in the world.
Yeah, it is, right? But the thing is, it just shows you like that the power of internet and search engine and it's so big that even the Chinese government
they can't actually control it to a certain extent, most definitely. So but I think too, speaking about like kids on the internet and probably maybe being more sexually aware than maybe we were when we were young.
It's true.
This is a day and age of sexual awareness. You know, I mean, I saw this program. There's 10-year-olds knowing, you know, talking to people, maybe 18-year-olds and stuff like that, and yet they have no idea who they are because it's all via the net. Do you know what I mean? Maybe not sort of via cyber either. Anyway, we'll leave it there, and we'll see you after the break.